What's going on? Happy Friday from Seattle, Washington. This video comes from a user on TikTok by the name of Kawik J. Will, and it's about holding women accountable and how they don't want to be accounted for anything that they do. It's always the man's fault. They always brushed off to everybody else. So I'll have a couple videos lined up. Then I'm gonna do like a series of different types of accountability that women try to avoid or try to push off on somebody else so they won't, take blame for anything that they do. So without further ado, let's get started. Here we go.
So I was talking to a male friend of mine the other day, and he told me that women don't apologize and women can't be held accountable. And I began to really think deeply about this idea. And one of the things that came across my mind is in the last 9 months or so of me being in my private practice, I have myself experienced many women, whether they came as a couple or they came by themselves, they very abruptly discontinued their therapy. And I started to reflect and really think, what was going on here? And I noticed that after I had to confront them about something, I had to bring to their attention something they were doing that wasn't contributing to the health of the relationship, they became very defensive and very, just very harsh, and they stopped coming. And even though the husband would continue to come, he made it very clear that, yeah, she won't apologize. She thinks you're wrong. She thinks you're taking my side. And I began to really reflect like, oh my gosh, is it true that women don't apologize?
What she's saying is correct because I remember when I came back from Iraq, both the first and the second time, um, with the wife, we went to counseling because I wasn't adjusting well, but I owned up to the things I was adjusting to, and no matter what, I was talking. We went to both a male psychologist and a female psychologist, and both times my ex-wife, well, my wife at the time, she didn't want to accept anything they had to say. You know, they would say stuff like, "Oh, he's just getting reintegrated back into being home." His guard was up for things like 18 months. His guard was up for this amount of time, and you have to adjust. He can't just jump back into doing everything that you want to do. And even things like when I would do something and I'd make a mistake and I try to, correct it, she'd come in and she'd do something just completely opposite of what I did, but she wouldn't apologize for certain things. And I'm like, when you point it out, like you want to get snippy, but what did you do? What did you do? No, we're not talking about me right now. We're talking about you. I've acknowledged what I did wrong. What about you acknowledging the things that you did? They just can't do it. It's like kryptonite, man. It's like you try to hold them accountable for anything. It's always, but what did you do? What did you do? And it could be something that you done like years ago, but they're always going to bring that back up because you caught them. They don't like that feeling. So they're going to try to reverse everything and throw it back on you because they just, for some reason, I can't fucking handle, being accounted for anything.
Is it that women struggle with being held accountable? I'd love your thoughts on this. Me personally, I think it has to do with a person's level of emotional maturity. What do you think?
Exactly. Like I said, they just, and I've been with many different types of women throughout my life. And no matter what you do, no matter what you say, they'll try to throw something, even if it's the most minuscule thing, they try to throw it back on you so they could just, get all the attention off of them. So they want the light on them. But, it's always been that way. I know a lot of people that, who comment on this video, comment on my video, they say the same exact thing. You know, let's see what the next video says.
Society pushes raise strong, good men. Meanwhile, where's the outcry? Raise good women to be wives.
Exactly. Think about it. When you're growing up, your father, grandfather, uncles, it's like teach you how to be a good man. This is how to be a good man. Do this, do that. Hold doors up for men. Always apologize. Always, walk on the outside. If you're walking down the street along the sidewalk, walk on the outside so they won't get hit. Open the car door, close the car door, open doors and say thank you very much and all that other stuff. But what do women do? How do they teach women to be good women or good wives? They don't. You ever notice that? It's always on the man, never on the woman. We got to handle women with kid gloves these days because you can't tell them about themselves. They're always right. You can't tell them nothing, especially from my experience. I don't know about anybody else's, especially with black women I've dealt with. as soon as you try to tell them about something, just the littlest thing, they try to throw it back on you. They just don't want to accept it. They want to get snippy. You can be walking down the street, you say hello, or have a good day. You try to smile and look at you like you crazy. Like, why are you talking to me? I'm a strong, independent, so blah 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 blah. But you don't hold the door open if they don't want to get snippy. You hold the door open. I can do the door by myself. So it's like you damned if you do, you damned if you don't.
I mean, this whole feminist movement just basically rebranded toxicity and threw some fake lashes on it.
Your
When
fake
a
pleasure.
woman is acting selfish, we call it self-love. When a woman acts bitter, we call it healing. When a woman dresses provocatively, when she's disrespectful to men, hating, bashing men, we call it empowerment.
When a man says, I wouldn't wear that for you, don't wear it out in public, you might get stares and all this other stuff. You can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me this. You can't tell me how I should dress, and you'll be in a relationship with this person. And when something happens, then they're expecting you to jump up to do something in their honor because they felt disrespected by whomever. When you told them hours before, don't do this, don't do that. Women, they don't want to be taken care of until they want to be taken care of. If they do take care of, it's got to be within their scope of how to take care of. You know, it's just the weirdest thing ever. I know a lot of people like that. Even women are starting to point this out because women, you can't hold them accountable for nothing. And like there's women that show on these videos right now, they're going against the sisterhood, the code. They're supposed to stick together, but they're called the outliers. And when women like this speak up on certain things, now they're called, oh, they're pick-me's, pick-meshas. But isn't that the point? To be picked, to be chosen, to be in a relationship? These women are married. This on this video. The point is that's the overall goal, right? Get with somebody, be nice, fit, friendly, and feminine. You get picked, you get chose, you get married, you get the ring. That's what you want, right? It's just women is just so modern, especially modern day women. They are so twisted in their head. They don't know what the hell they want. You know?
And spoiler alert, accountability isn't emotional abuse. It's called growth. I mean, think about this one. If a man cheats, oh, what a dirty dog.
Oh,
He's
boy.
a POS. He is this, he is that. If a woman cheats, we just say, what did he do to her to make her do that? I couldn't imagine being a man dating right now because you women exhaust me. And I'm sorry to break it to you, sis, but delusion is not a love language. I already know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this.
But think about it though. Delusion is not a love language. That's crazy because a lot of these women walk around here thinking that they baddies, they tens, they this, they that, and you can't tell them nothing. You can't tell them nothing otherwise. You know, but the thing is, they don't realize that they're not the ones who's doing the choosing. You know, the men are the ones who are the buyers. We're the ones who decide. Society decides. Your value. You're a man, like especially men. You like I could believe or be delusional and think, oh, I'm a millionaire. I feel like I'm a millionaire. I feel like I'm this. I feel like I'm that. But it's not for me to think that. When I go out and like I believe I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. I go to my bank account and there's no millions in there. That's the delusion that a lot of these women live up to these days.
Hey yo, look, gang, come rap with me real quick. What is it about the word accountability that women can't pick up or women can't use? Look, me, as a man, I can take accountability for the fact that I messed up some of my relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I could take accountability for the fact that I played a role in why my relationships may not have worked out. But for the women, accountability is like, no,
Kryptonite.
they just like running from it. Look,
Kryptonite, boy.
you probably played a role for why that man left you. You probably played a role on why that man cheated on you. You probably played a role on picking those bad guys. Look, you have to take accountability. If you would have picked the right guy, he probably wouldn't have cheated you like that.
You also got to think about it. You know, Women don't take accountability, especially when they get pregnant. Oh, well, he should have wore a condom. He should have done this. He should have done that. Just again, no accountability. Did he rape you or R word you? Sorry, grape R word. Did he do that to you? No. So you are the one ultimately controlling your body, right? So there's all these different forms of contraceptive to prevent you from getting pregnancy. You could have done that. You could have said no. No, absence is nothing. You would either accepted it, move on to somebody else, or wait this turn until you finally decide to let him hit it or whatever. But when she gets pregnant, oh well, he should have got me pregnant. It's always he shoulda. When you're the one ultimately controlling your body, it's always the same case with women.
Play accountability for the fact that you played a role in all those things and the outcomes like I did. I understood that my relationship ended because I was a cheater at the time and I was a liar at the time. That's me taking accountability. You should probably take accountability also.
When it comes to a topic, I know the girls hate to see me coming. They do. They do. And the reality of it is, women don't like to be told the truth.
Mm,
We don't want to be
that's
held
it's true.
accountable.
That's true.
Would rather be lied to. We would rather be coddled and told that we are the best people on earth and we're the queens and princesses, and we're not.
It's like that old thing, that old saying back in the day, when a woman comes at you and they say, "Do I look fat in this dress?" And you can't tell them the truth because if you tell them the truth, they're gonna think you're mean. You're gonna tell them the truth, they're gonna think you're a misogynist. So they want you to lie to them as always. Like they lie amongst each other, they lie to themselves. They want people to lie to them so they can feel better. Think about that. But when you tell them the truth, you can't tell them what to do, or they try to call you out. Well, you should lose some weight too. But you ask me a question, and I'm telling you the truth, and you don't want to hear it. You want to get mad at me. You can't make, like Kevin Summy said, you can't make this shit up.
Not all of us. Majority of us are not. Right? So when we have to have these hard conversations, we don't want to because we call it bashing and shaming and judging. So we would rather just lie to each other, say that each other is doing amazing, say that we're just doing so well that we have no problems, and we know that's not the truth. And I'm gonna call it out. I'm not afraid to call it out. I'm not afraid to hold anyone accountable. I'm not afraid to hold myself accountable. I'm not afraid to elevate and to become a better person. Accountability and hard conversations are necessary to gain self-awareness, to be a better person. So I encourage the girls to stay a while. I appreciate this comment because the girls who get it, get it. The girls who get it. And stay a while. Get comfortable.
The ones who get it, and get the marriage. If you notice that, all these women on here are married, have been long term relationships. The one that don't get it, the one that continues to lead lie to, so they can feel better about themselves. They're the ones that's always wanting out, trying to get somebody different, get somebody that's their type. When them, they are not the type that they're looking for. You think when they get that person, he's like, oh well, he wasn't my type. Is this? Is this that? I didn't like the way he did this. I didn't like the way he did that. When in reality, you're the one that has the issue. You're the one with the problems. But you never want to look within. You always want to look at everybody else, point your finger.
Something that I was thinking about the other day was actually that, because of women being unable to be accountable for their own actions, a lot of women are actually missing the mark even when it comes to their health, right? All because of being unaccountable for their actions. Nobody can't tell you anything. Nobody can expose you for doing anything wrong. Nobody can tell you that, you're saying things like snippy or that you're rude or that you're disrespectful because you're above reproach. Like nobody can hold you accountable. Nobody can tell you anything that you do wrong. But what I realize is that there's a lot of women who actually have a lot of trouble with hormone issues,
Mm.
right? Their cortisol levels are extremely high. They have either too much progesterone, too little, too high of estrogen, too little. And so they are literally acting out of their hormonal imbalances. So that's why they are disrespectful, sometimes extremely rude. They have like crazy mood swings, all because they actually have problems going on internally. But a lot of women are unable, or they leave these things unchecked because, again, you cannot hold me accountable. So if I have an attitude, I'm not even going to, take anything that you're saying into account and actually look deep into myself and figure out if there's anything that I need to fix within myself. Instead, I'm just going to combat you and be harboring not only my issues and my problems and my attitude, But I'm also going to be harboring this hormonal imbalance that I could have checked a long time ago if somebody could have checked me.
And that's just what I said about 2 videos ago. They don't want to look within themselves. You can't be checked. Like I said, with the whole, do I look fat in this dress? Yes. Well, you're no spring chicken either. You're not small either. Versus honestly taking a hard, deep, hard look at yourself and say, yeah, I could lose some weight. Yeah, I could do this. I could do that. Just sit there, not accept what was being said. Let in turn, like, just think about it, stew on it, and then think about ways to change it. It's automatically, I got to be snippy with you. You're a misogynist. I got to get back at you to make myself feel better because I don't like what you had to say about me. Even though I know it's the truth, I don't want to accept that truth. The whole thing, like Kevin Samuels used to say all the time, rest in peace. When he would say, picking up between 1 and 10, you can't use 7. They would sit there like, I'm an 8, I'm a 9, I'm a 10. How do you feel that way? Because I'm this, I bring everything to the table. I am the table. Like, how? You're the ones with 6 kids. You're the ones that's over age. You're the one that's overweight. They would be, 5 foot, 5'5", 190 pounds. That weighs more than a lot of the average men out there. Average man being 180 pounds, 5'9", 5'10". She weighs more than a full grown man, an average man. But you can't tell them about themselves. About excuse me, where the women get together in their group, oh girl, you look good, you look good, have rolls hanging over in those tight ass dresses. But yet, girl, we all teens. You should always think high about yourself. Okay, yeah, you could think high about yourself, but at the same time, you gotta be reality too. You gotta be in reality. Don't live in delusion. But I don't know. That's how women are these days. So I'm gonna do a part 2 to this. There's many other videos out there that I saw. There's just so many. I just picked just a couple at random, and they all pretty much say the same thing, you know. But that's my thoughts. That's my comments on it. Let me know your thoughts on the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know how I did. I'm getting back into the whole YouTube thing because an issue that happened at our place far above us. Destroyed a lot of my stuff. I had to replace it. So I'm slowly getting everything connected back together, trying to make sound right, make sure all the lighting is good, getting more into programming and stuff. So yeah, I'll be throwing out more videos. Hopefully I can start throwing out at least 3 to 5 videos every day. So this right here, now don't mind this. It's a steering wheel for another YouTube channel I'm gonna open up or start called Seattle Gamer. So it's gonna be a gaming channel. But until next time, peace.